Stillwell is just charging off in front. He's over 4 seconds ahead now as the 149 of Stephen Lancaster spins. Another car that's struggling badly. We saw just behind that group is Harry Kramer, number 121. And who's that going off? Oh, that's Lancaster again in the 149 over the gravel. Oh, he needs to be careful here. He hope he doesn't T-bone anybody. Oh, goodness me. Well, there is Stephen Lancaster. He's still going after his second big moments of the race. He's 20th. Running wide again. He's on the grass again. He's going to go straight on here at the old hairpin. Now, this could be race ending. He's into the gravel. No, he's kept it going. And he rejoins again. Somebody off on the outside of the chicane. Who's that? Is that Tom Gunter that's gone off? It is. A rare mistake for Tom Gunter. He's gone into the Recticel barriers on the outside. Incredible race. Well, that whole race was like a highlights package, wasn't it? We had the fuel down from Harrison Cavers early on. The tangle between a couple of cars.
These are locked up heavily there into it. That's the number 78, isn't it? Is it 78?
Nick Hyton.
Nick Hyton. So yes, another champion there. Looking well, more contact as they come down. We've got a car spear to it. That's the Hanif brother. He's gone. Is he going to break it? Keep it out of the barriers? Not quite. In that second place, Oglesby takes third place. Tolmarsh around the outside of Sampson, but he's not going to give it up. More wings go flying. Tolmarsh has lost another wheel arch. They really are pulling.
Nice header by Nick Hyton there.
Yeah, and the Ironman car sort of lost it. Looks like maybe all by himself. Or again, more fuel down maybe. Somebody
else went wide there.
Exactly,
as well.
That's what I mean. There's a lot of cars jinking and jiving. Oh no, he was helped. He was nudged, shall we say. He is already losing the rear of that car, but then got help. Interesting from yesterday, we've got a 180-degree change of direction of the wind, which means start-finish straight is going to be even more critical. And watch for cars practicing the draft on the start-finish straight to see whether they can get by the car in front by the time they get to the line. Is that Craig Story off at the back?
Yeah, Craig Story tangling with Greg Monks in the number.
Have to wait till later on before he can get it. Bit of a replay here, so he's looking in the background. We're coming into the left of our screen, see whether we can see it already. Oh, there was a bit of a nasty contact there with Greg, wasn't it? I think Greg had already spun and there was nowhere for Craig to go, and there was a wheel-to-wheel contact.
Darling, I can tell you, has got ahead of Oglesby at the line. He's up to P7 now. This is P2 down to 6th. And looking in his mirror here will be Ben Wheatley. Oh, collision! Who's gone off there?
Yeah, there was someone I think may have missed a gear or something, and that cost Sampson out of the running then. So that's going to be an engine off job because his radiator will be burst. Get a bit of a replay here. So they were all very, very close coming in. So it's Tolmarsh out in front. Who went out wide? Was that Van Dijk going out onto the grass? Out wide. They all got checked up and he had nowhere to go. So really
it was Keane slowed, I think.
And I wonder whether he missed a gear because of Van Dijk being on the grass on the outside. They are going to stick like this for the rest of this race. I didn't also see what happened off the line. It's very unusual to see. I didn't hear any contact. So, they've got another spin. That's Jeff Price, who we saw fighting for the Amwin yesterday. That's not how he wants.
As they head towards the Bentley Straight once again.
Yeah, and it's all coming together. There is that wing from the rear of Duncan Mallett's car. Little replay here. You can see Charlie Lower down the inside. Duncan Mallett's on the outside. Charlie Lower, I think, just lost the front of his car. Yeah, let's see whether this replay opens up anything else. Bianchi on the outside there. Let's have a look as they're going in. No, it's Duncan Mallett going to the side of Taylor O'Flanagan. So it doesn't look like there's any sort of misdemeanor there. I wonder whether as he was
all backed up into the two behind them. We'll have a look at again the double spin there. Very nice bit of
spinning.
Yes. Here's the fight between Evans and Thornton. They're really throwing these cars through the complex towards the end of the lap. And talking of throwing it sideways, oh dear, that was Buck and Oliver. He may have just clipped the back of Aaron Oliver there. Somebody else going wide onto the grass behind them. So that's going to break this group apart. That's the 24 car, which is Ollie White up on the outside. Chris Buck goes through the middle. He's been tagged. Now, if he pulled that off, it would have been a brilliant move. But unfortunately, it all came apart on the exit. And round goes Chris Buck. Oh, there he is. It's number 11. It's Stuart Beggs. Maybe spun while trying to get out of the way of the leaders. And he's beached in the gravel. That's at Clearways. I think that means George Hawkins. That's what had happened. Stuart Beggs had spun there, and if he kept on the tarmac, he'd have been able to rejoin, but he drove through the gravel. They make their way up towards the club chicane. Richardson defending the lead from Hawkins. Tomadakis is in third position. Oh, the fourth place man, Ben Oliver, has spun up onto the curb. Look out, everybody scattering wide to avoid him. There's a few cars banging wheels, but I think Brooklands section onto Woodham Hill. All named after famous things from British motorsport history. They're going to spin there for Seb Tholle. He has lost it coming into the club chicane. Still Hawkins. No, it's Hawkins that's got the lead now, as going very wide there and across the chicane. Mind the barriers. That's the number 12, that's John Bond. He'll lose ground as a result of that. Somebody else going off in the background. Who's that? It's the number 10 car. Wallop into the tyre wall goes number 10, James French. Race to the title last season in 270R as Adam Keane round the outside takes the lead into the chicane and bouncing over the curbs. Nick Sampson has made a bit of a mess of that. We've got another mess further back. That's Hardcastle, number 6. He spun it on the inside. Straight up from Academy to 270R this year. With a bit of luck, he could take the lead under braking here. No, Ben Wheatley moves across and takes the line. There's a tangle further back. Dan Hope has tangled up with Alex Coombs. Something had to give in all of that, and it was those two, unfortunately. Oh, and that's a big impact. That's Django Jones. He's gone head on into the tyre wall. It's good to see Django's got out and he's okay. That was certainly a rather crazy moment. And then Django Jones wallop straight in. I'm not too sure what happened there. I reckon something broke on the number 8 car. Thankfully, the safety systems did their job and Django is okay. It's through the slight left flick of Brooklands and up towards Woodham Hill for the first time. Here's a replay. Watch the middle of the field as they come into... Oh, it was a big lock-up there and wallop. Harvey Lawrence gets harpooned there into Cobb. First two have pulled away. Nick Sampson has taken the lead from Ben Wheatley and everybody else trying to be third, 4 wide into the chicane. That's not going to work. Oh, Dan Hope again goes spinning around. That's where he collided with Alex Coombs yesterday. Monty Hines going to try and go through the middle of them now as they come up towards the chicane. Megan Bruce on the outside. Look at Ben Wheatley up the inside in the 53. Bang! There's contact. Nick Highton smashes into Monty Hind and out of the race goes Highton for definite. Monty Hind off as well. We'll see if he can continue. Well, with so many cars in such a small space, something had to give and something else gives. That's Graham Handy. He's spun. He takes out Tim Payne and somebody else. Watch the middle of this pack with Nick Highton towards the back, the black and blue car. He just doesn't seem to slow down. He bounces off Ben Wheatley into the air, smashes into Monty Hind. He disappears off into the tyre wall. And then Monty Hind facing the wrong way, the nose cone damaged on his car, but it's still mobile. He gets going again, but then further back in the pack, watch the red car, number 2. Graham Handy launches off the curb, he spins, takes Tim Payne out, and then wallop. Just as Monty Hind was starting to rejoin, that happens. This time he's got the braking point right, or has he? Sideways, flicks over the curb. Harris follows him, but Helm's got the lead. Chris Buck cuts the curb as well. Charles Harris sliding wide. Oh, he's been tagged, Charles Harris, by Oliver White as he came back across there having run wide. Chris Buck trying to fight back. He's lost under. Aaron Oliver locks up. He nearly hit the back of Chris Buck there. Also in there is Alistair Morton. He's tagged Chris Buck. They tangle up. Round goes Chris Buck. Look out. Everybody else, I think, has just managed to avoid them. Goodness me, that was a scary moment. And there's more contact there as Jeremy Skelton goes into the back of somebody. For the lead, Bianchi having a go at Taylor O'Flanagan. For third, here comes Hoffman on the outside. He's passed lower. He's past Ben Lopez Appleton and James Empson spins. The 20 car goes around. Lawrence and Goldstein take the escape road in avoidance. He doesn't want to let these two leaders get too far ahead, especially with just over 4 minutes of the race to go. Ben Lopez Appleton, where did he come from there? He must have sent it straight in and said, oh, he's lost it. Oh, what a shame for Ben Lopez Appleton. He just lunged through for third. He's going to have to slipstream on the run to the line. Further back, Murgatroyd on the inside. Hoffman on side by side with lower. Oh, Goldstein loses it at the back. He spins around. Meanwhile, Taylor O'Flanagan takes his second win of the week. And Louis Darling, they've already got past Ben Wheatley. Bruce has to go over the curbs. Louis Darling has the lead as they come out of the chicane. We're going to spin her further back. Oh, it's Dan Hope again. Hold on to your hats as they run towards the chicane once again. Oh, bang! Contact there, and Ben Wheatley does a wheelie into the chicane. That has that damaged his suspension. I thought he was going to go flying off into the tyre wall. That's a great save. Amazingly, I think the car is okay. Well, that was extraordinary. Watch Ben Wheatley, the light blue car. He hits the back of Louis Darling into the chicane and lifts off. Not only does he get the car round, but I don't think there's any damage there. Is Louis Darling going to continue to hold on to his lead? Oh, and there's problems further back as well. A couple of cars take the escape road. Harrison Cavers spins. I think that was Sampson who took the escape road. And
weigh about half a ton, so they do get moved around by that gusting wind quite a lot. Louis Darling's going to lead them then into the hairpin this time through. A bit of a lock up from Keane. He's fully locked up. He's going to have contact with Coombs. They lose a wheel arch, but actually that ended up being okay. But he was fully locked up. He is now having to see whether he can catch up with Speaks. But I think with 3 minutes left on the clock, they're going to have a couple of laps to get back.
Big lock up. There's contact, and that's it's the two Hanifs. They've hit each other, and somebody else piles in. That's 33 Zach Lower and Tim Hardcastle as well. Carnage at the hairpin. Oh dear, that's going to make for an interesting journey home. That was Arif Hanif, went into the back of Barry. Look at the state of Barry's car.
Now for the drivers, but it is Oglesby still ahead.
Coming up towards half distance in his first race of the day here at Anglesey. Oh, there's contact there between Harrison Cavers and Tim Hardcastle. Look out! Monty Hine nearly got harpooned there.
Well done. As they come over the line then to start their 8th lap, a replay of that, you can see he gets squeezed onto the grass and actually takes out 3 cones. They are significant, as you know, if you've ever picked one up off the side of a road, how heavy those things are. And
later in Oglesby, Cavers and Hine, the 4 now. Henry Speaks has been shuffled back by Harrison Cavers through there. That's allowed Monty Hine to come through, and that's Speaks. It is on the grass, unfortunately. The grid, somebody a little slow away. That's Luciano Caruso, I think, at the back in the Rothmans lookalike car. Bit of dust being kicked off. A couple of cars running wide. Got a spinner in the middle of the pack. I think there's cars going everywhere at the back of the field. We'll try and identify those in a moment.
Fox though back.
Fox is back in front there as we were away from the lead battle. You see, you can't take your full collision there. That was the number 13 of Stephen Vischer going into the back of somebody, and Wilby heads the second group here ahead of Harvey Lawrence. Then we've got Paul Goldstein, number 50. Oh, and contact there, and wallop. Who was that? I think that's Gareth Lucas,
yeah, it is Gareth Lucas.
Number 10. That's broken his front suspension.
Behind O'Flanagan last time through, but let's see what it is. Replay of Gareth Lucas' jam. I think they just missed a gear on their way out, and that caused him to sort of launch himself over the rear wheel.
And well, they've all safely negotiated it in the end, albeit I can think there was a few squeaky bum moments from our drivers, particularly further down the order. Oh, goodness me, that's a big run round there. I think somebody collected the tyre barrier at the chicane. Caterham rolling backwards there into the grass. Speaking of Sibbitt, he's going to apply some pressure here, looking around the outside. But also, we've got some bodywork there. Oh, goodness me, that is a lot of bodywork coming off. And I think that's one of the rear left wheel arches there. Or was that Civics car that had that come flying off? It's an enforced requirement going from 135 to 150 that you have to have the limited slip differential or the LSD. Oh, my goodness, and that is a big, big moment there. And, well, that is going to be the strawberry machine going straight up into the air. Yellow flag to there's bodywork all over the road, and when he gets it turned around, prevents it from getting stuck there and stalled. Andrew Whitten is not fazed by what's happened, even though he took flight there. I mean, they did say that this very circuit was based on a Royal Air Force airfield, but one thing is, we're not expecting anyone to take off in this modern day and age. All the flying days were done in 1946, but he didn't get the memo on that one. Well, in fact, no, this was beforehand. This was not the airtime moment. This was the battle there. That was an excursion out wide. In fact, yes, it was the airtime moment, and oh, goodness me, that was a big, big moment there, and you could see the rear left tyre, the 112, making contact with our other red machine there. Couldn't quite see the door number on it, and well, some to McCall, who's holding on to 7th now, but he's in a championship competitor territory versus roles of Warner and Ems and Clarkson. It's also on the back of this, and you can see Clarkson there. Car around, hold up a second, who's that? Who's had a big old spin? I think that's Murrah. That is Murrah indeed, gone around there, rolling backwards. That is not a happy place to be. You're on the start finish straight and rolling up backwards down there. I think very slowly rolling backwards. I think wondering when is the right time to turn the car around. Well, hopefully they can get. Later on, we also saw some great battling, a big spin there for Murrah, and that explains what happened to the 94 Murrah going on around. Definitely a bit of a dramatic moment there.
And who's going to get the whole shot here? It looks like it is Ben Wheatley, who's got away well down towards that first corner. There's been some contact in there already. A couple of cars go off into the gravel. We'll identify those in a moment when we can see their numbers. The yellow flags will be out at Clervaux, taken the lead. Bruno van Dijk, only his second appearance of the season, going with the lead. Oh, and wide goes Nick Sampson onto the grass. He could lose out here into the complex too. Ben Wheatley's lost momentum there. Wheatley has a look up the inside. Oh, they've all tangled up. All three of them have gone. Goodness me. All three of the leaders go off. Well, 3 into 1 certainly didn't go into the complex there. Up the outside as they came into the complex, and then 3 into 1 didn't go. You can't go 3 wide through there, and they all went out, and Alex Coombs couldn't believe his luck and went through to take the lead. Van Dijk was out. There's the second group, the next group ahead of Price and Lancaster. Charlie Lowe, a big lunge up the inside into the hairpin. Oh, he's tagged Lopez Appleton. What a shame after that great move earlier on. Lopez Appleton goes around.
And that's only 2/10 off the lap record, so they are nearly doing a lap record pace in this wind. That's pretty impressive. It was side-by-side Story, Armstrong trying around the outside. Then can he go all the way around the outside and make this stick? Doesn't normally work. Contact between them. They're going to both spin. In fact, they're just about recovering. I think maybe Story's got some damage on the car, so Story has moved up one place over the top of Tommy. Oh, it's down the inside. Contact between Harry Landy and Craig Story. So that's Craig McCormack. Gary McCormack gets put out wide as well. So this really kicking off as we come down to the last couple of laps of this race.
And so George Hawkins defending from Ollie Smith in the number 89, the blue car with the orange stripe, and Richard Northridge has spun and wallop. He's been hit by the 15. Look out, everybody else will scatter in avoidance. That Shane Forster has crashed into Richard Northridge there, and that will almost certainly be a stoppage if he can't get that car moved. It's coming through in just behind Tomadakis there. He's lost the back end. Round he goes and wallop.
See it, all that impact on that left rear, which just meant that
cars behind did very well to avoid those two as well. Alistair Morton going well in 4th. 5th position is Dan Crawley with the Dayglow yellow stripe down his car. Ollie White in the dark green car is 6th. On a spin there, Liam Baslington, look out. Are they all going to be able to miss the number 13? That was certainly unlucky 13. In championship challenges, there was so much going on out there, it was nigh on impossible to follow. That looks like Scott Darling. We didn't see that initially, having a spin towards the back of the field. He was lucky not. Well, indeed, all 31 starters went the distance, including Aaron Oliver, who recovered very well to take 10th place and set fastest lap after tangling with Jimmy Way. So this race, 9 cars covered by just over 3 seconds. A couple of cars running wide at Tower. That was Chris Hicks in the 52 going for a spin. We couldn't take our eyes off that lead battle, so we missed that at the time. Chris ending up in the long grass on the infield. Somebody else going for a bit of a lose as well, the number 19. I noticed he'd lost time on the last start. That was Chris Morling. It gets the best start ahead of the red and blue of Matt Armstrong. It's 3 wide for 3rd. Look at Chris Fraser at the inside. Big lock-up. He's going straight on into the gravel. Chris Fraser completely missed his braking point there. He hits the tyre wall. That's end of game for the championship sponsor, unfortunately. He just completely missed his braking point. He was lucky he didn't take Matt Armstrong with him. I thought he was going to charge into the back of the number 19 car. Just missed him. Went sliding sideways into the gravel, all the way over the gravel and into the tyre wall.
Off Harry Landy, so it is going to be Senior to the outside. He is to the outside. He's being pinched heavily to the outside. But no contact with him down the straight. Justin Armstrong was pinching him on the inside, and then just 2 cars came into contact, and that sent Justin Armstrong onto the grass. And yeah, that was just 2 cars wanting to be on the same bit of track all at once. Justin Armstrong's going to be feeling a little bit aggrieved by that. But yeah, he was an unbelievable amount of grip that he found on that grass. And McCormack's the next one. He's got the bit between his teeth, hasn't he? Can he make it across? Gavin, was that contact? They're going to. Oh no! It's got even as well. What a shame for the end of that battle. Was there contact between the two of them on Sunny out and between Sunny in and out, as they're all heading then down into Tower, fully up to speed now. Heighton behind Lionel Tolmarsh. Coombs has been locked up and took out Coombs into the hairpin. It looks like they're both going to be able to do it, but there's another incident there for the 270. So Oglesby just missed his braking point, or was outbraked into the side of Coombs, and Coombs was left to.
Original grip, but Lionel Tolmarsh is fighting back around the outside as they come towards Tower Bend. Can he get the overlap? Oh, goodness me! How did he miss him there?
Oh dear. In fact, that put Tolmarsh off,
yes.
Didn't it? I think
and Waitley's got the lead. Trying to make his way up the order and join his 2 sons at the front of the field. There's Charlie Harris, 96, in the Team Lotus lookalike behind his brother Will. And here comes Mitchell. He's tagged the back of the 24. Going to tangle. That's going to cause an absolute pile up there coming out of the hairpin. What a shame. We've got Ollie White off, Mitchell Fasanya, Will Harris is involved. I think that's Alistair Morton that's burst the radiator there. Yeah. That will be a safety car or possibly even a red flag. Could throw at him, but then the problem struck here. Mitchell Fasanya into the back of Ollie White, which sent both the Harris brothers out of the race and Alistair Morton as well. 5 cars eliminated in that pile-up. Out of turn 10, and there's contact. Charlie Lower and Taylor O'Flanagan tangle up. Oh dear. 2 of the favourites in trouble there. Lower facing the wrong way. There's wings flying. There's a yellow flag out on that corner, so no passing. Charlie Lower gets going again at the back of the field. Looks like just cosmetic damage, hopefully. A lot of these cars started out as Caterham Academy cars and have been upgraded over the years. Whoops, and Hall goes for a spin in the 62 at turn 10, nearly takes Caitlin McDaniel with her. Another car running wide there, that's Andy Palmer, he's going to spin it into the gravel now. He won't get out of there. Will it be Charles or Will Harris who leads out the line, and somebody's off? That's Ivan Searle. Number 32 has spun coming out of the Hans Ernstbach. Those Seagulls needs to get out of the way as well.
And I'm delighted to hand over to Dave Goddard, your commentator, to take you through the action.
Let's have a look again what happened there. Yeah, there was no contact there, just got a wheel onto the curb and wallop straight into the tyre wall backwards. Louis Darling coming through into second ahead of Nick Sampson. It's 4 wide for 4th place. Henry Speaks in 4th position as they go into Tarzan for the first time. Looks like it's Nick Heighton up into 5th. We're going to tangle at the back. That's Anne Hall, number 62, and Andy Palmer, 63. Andy Palmer spun off in yesterday's race into the gravel up at collection of this Caterham Roadsport race changes. Let's see what he did here, just ran in too deep there, slid a little bit wide and bash into the tyre wall. Let's have a look again towards, and wallop. There's the collision. It's not Tom McEwing, that's him there on the inside. It is the 54 car of Mike Munns, I think. He's hit the side of the 14 of Sean Crellin. He's going to need to get onto the Caterham. Pass the further tangle between the leaders. Oh, this car's going everywhere. Now, there was contact there, I think, going into Sheevlack. I think Jeff Price hit the back of Ben Lopez Appleton. That sent Bianchi and Lawrence off onto the gravel.
Richard Davies has just taken him on the inside. Now, this is where it really gets curly is down on the hairpin, and everybody has come out unscathed there, which is great to see.
Oh,
big crash.
The second one, that is a lot of dust, I think.
Yeah, and he's dropped from 4th to 9th.
Oh, that's Carl Talent. The cars are, yeah, okay. So Kyle
is in it, so I missed what happened to George. I guess he had a bit of a moment somewhere.
Whoa, someone's off.
Here comes Sean Crellin on the inside, trying to take 3rd place under braking for Murray. Scored up, bang! There's contact there, and Luke Wakeman hit the back of him. He's lost his nose cone. The right-hander of Riches. Wilson's hairpin sees Tom McEwing in the lead. Hapgood in second, and a tangle there between Merritt and Crellin. Oh dear, they've tangled up into the hairpins. So it's 3rd place gone. Crellin rejoins first. Steve Merritt trying to get the treble 1 car going again. He does so. Incidents down at the exit of Agostini. Bit of contact there. I think that was the grey and green car of Neil Warnock at the back of the field, number 42. But it is McEwing who leads the way. Somebody spun in the background. That's taken out Sean Crellin. I think it was Henry Morris who spun, and Crellin got caught up with him. They've got going again. 7th behind him is Giles Derry. Oh, somebody's off in the background. Who's that that's gone around? Spin coming out of course, if you drop your rear wheel on. And straight off, wallop straight into the barrier. What happened there? Who was that? It's the 57 car again of Simon White. Watch the background at Palmer. And there's a spin. It's Louise Deeser, number 122. Oh, that was close. Paul Vokes very nearly T-boning her.
Trying to fight back. You remember he's in the battle for that AM Championship as well. Looks like he's not going to be able to do another contact. Justin Armstrong, that's our AM Champion winner. He's spun. Is he going to get collected? Yes, there is a little bit more contact, but he is facing the wrong way, and this is not going to be the way he hopes to win that AM Championship.
Saw earlier on.
Shame for Monty then on his debut weekend in that 420, doing so well. They're really finding his speed. Oh, speed contact from Dale Head there. So that was Jake Swan at Dale Head. Quick recovery back round. What a spin turn to get back. Very nicely done, but he will be frustrated with that. Here comes Duncan Mallet side by side with Jake Swan as they come down. Craig Story looking down the inside of Mike Evans, who's still firmly in that battle, but getting squeezed out. In fact, we've got Spinner really wide out there. Everyone had to take desperate avoiding action around the outside of Stowe. Lost time momentum, got Dale Head right back into the action now. Yeah, look at that. So he's just squeezed in the middle, just loses the rear. I don't know if he had to get back on the brakes. Mike Evans, Steve Nuttall, James Hall and Tom Eden having to take to the outside. Everyone else is making progress. And I think the qualifying was a little bit topsy-turvy. I wonder whether they had a greasy track when they were out there.
Yes, there was quite a bit of rain.
Contact down the other of Stowe. We've got cars one on top of the other, so they unfortunately made contact into Stowe that time. Everyone on their wheels, and now we've got cars into gravels, plenty of wings. We're going to have maybe a red flag to make sure that all...
Further back in the pack, we see the incident start to kick off. There's Ben Oliver. He's on the inside. He clips the side of the blue machine there. That sends him into Sebastian Thole, who was on the outside in the 24. I can't quite see the number of that blue car that was in the middle there. We'll try and work out who that is. I think it might have been Stephen Vischer, the number 13, which is a great shame after his qualifying efforts yesterday.
We watched that contact earlier on. So a spin for the number 23. So we already lost some speed out into
Monty Hind is ninth, Stephen Nuttall rounding out the top 10. We've got one car into the pits, 22, Gary Curtis has pulled in, and is that Jones?
It was Jones, I think.
Yes, Carl Jones has spun it coming through the link there. I think he heard you saying that the progress forward had halted. He's going for it.
No contact!
Off goes Django Jones. There was contact there, I think. Don't spin back into the pack. It just avoids Tim Hardcastle there. What a rejoin. That was lucky.
See from the rear, but it changes colour as you look from the front because it's sort of a half and half. He's going around the outside, and there's contact now with Henry Speaks and Bailey. So he was already at the absolute limit of the adhesion. He's going to have to join. In fact, I think third place was going to have a super toe though. They're going to go 3 wide as they go into Stowe. Heighton's got the extra speed around the outside. Is he going to overthrow? He's going to just about go alongside.
No.
Late on the brakes for Darling. Contact!
Oh, what a shame for Nick Sampson. He's clipped Titan. Heighton's got damage, I think. That has ruined it for Nick Sampson. Such a disappointment for him. So what's going to happen as they come up to Club? It's Darling in the clear. Bailey's up to second. Heighton's got damage, but he's still going.
Do what we do to the BRALC. Here is a replay, though, of that 3 wide into it and just clipped over the top.
You could see that coming
Heighton.
almost every lap, couldn't you? Something like that was going to happen.
I think he'd say he has to do it. And
towards Clearways. Oh, bit of a mistake there from Hawkins, and there's contact. Hawkins onto the grass. Oh, what a shame. George Hawkins spins off. He got sideways coming into Clearways there. There was nothing Ollie Smith could do there. As the car slid back across in front of him, that was certainly not intentional. What a shame for George Hawkins.